Yesterday we spoke with Professor Issa Sage on phone on the program. We talked about a whole lot. Even Marco was also asking to see if there was anything the legislative or executive arm could do. But he says, well, they were also culpable because some of them were responsible for the problem we have in the judiciary as we speak. What do you have to say?
No, he's 100% correct. Well, you see, my take on all of this is this. You cannot... if you don't have it in you to be corrupt, there's no amount of situation that can cause you to be corrupt. The challenge that we have is this. Politicians, yes, everybody likes to take advantage of the relationship that you have with any given person. You'd like to take some benefit as a result of a relationship that is in place. It is the extent to which you will go in terms of that relationship that now determines whether you're corrupt or not. There are certain individuals who are principled. There's no amount of persuasion that can get them to bend their principles in order to accommodate you. So we're talking about principle, we're talking about discipline, we're talking about being focused, we're talking about being determined, we're talking about being detached from the system. Yes, politicians are always there. They can always take advantage of them. Somebody once said, okay, if I am influential or involved in the process of your appointment, I can get anything that I want from you. Yes, you can be involved in the process of my appointment, but that doesn't mean that I must shut my eyes to justice, regardless of the fact that you appointed me. And that's some of the challenges. When you talk about corruption, it's multifaceted, because look at this. How many judges would want to deliver a judgment against the government that appointed it? So there's also that problem, but that has nothing to do with corruption. There's no monetary inducement, but the fear of the fact that, okay, I was told of a particular judge who made a pronouncement against the incumbent, not this present incumbent, the person that was in office at that particular time. The judge was moved from a particular division to another division, which was almost like a mark of punishment.
And if they do that, sorry to come in here, for instance, we're trying to see how we can help them out so that things like that don't happen. If they do that, where does he or she run to? Is there a way he or she can bring that before the Judiciary Commission so that they can help us stem that?
Now, you see, because that particular or a particular judge subjected to that kind of situation would not be encouraged to engage the system, but those stakeholders in the system can write on behalf of, because we are all stakeholders in the administration of justice, and so each person has a responsibility to ensure that such events don't occur. So if it happens, it is not the place of the judge to complain. It is the place of other stakeholders in the system to simply say, no, this is not fair, this is not right.
Okay, but if that complaint doesn't come from them,
yes,
can't the disciplinary committees themselves, having seen that case, move forward themselves?
No, but you see, without a complaint, you cannot kickstart the process. Just like investigation, if there's no allegation, there will be no room for investigation. So there must be a complaint.
Well, does it have to be people on the inside? Because I remember this particular case where a high-profile politician had gone to jail. The case was pretty speedy, and we do remember that the judge was moved from, I think, attending to criminal cases to a family court. Yes. And then the former chairman of the EFCC, Farida Waziri, said she was going to take it up, that they were not happy about what had happened. But I think we had also asked some other people within the sector, and they said there was absolutely nothing wrong with it. It was within, they could move judges around as they wanted. So how do we begin to differentiate when there is something wrong with something and when it is just normal?
You see, that particular instance and that particular case, incidentally, I'm also aware of it. Now, some of us felt that what ought to have happened is for the EFCC to have approached the chief judge, that because of the cases that this particular judge is saddled with, it will not be proper. In other words, like you make a passionate plea. Assignment of judges is merely administrative. But when it is done in a way that is suggestive of some punitive measures, then it raises the red flag. And that's what happened in this particular case. Was it done intentionally? Was it done with a background of ensuring that a particular politician is not tried? For me, because of the way it all happened, the answer might be yes. But it was done in the course of what you call administrative function, because it is the responsibility of the chief judge to reassign judges. But in reassigning the judges, there are a number of things that one has to also take into account. We have also been taught that in the exercise of your discretion, you must do it judicially and judiciously. That here you are, faced with a situation where a particular judge is saddled with criminal trial of high political dimension. And if you do the reassignment in relation to that particular judge, there's a general perception. Nigerian public will say, oh, come on, why will you do this at this time? But as we speak, I'm aware that, for instance, in the Federal Court, judges are going to be reassigned. Judges are going to be posted. It's part of what you sign up for when you're appointed as a judicial officer. No particular judge is meant to sit in a particular... And that's why some people are clamoring for the need to have specialist judges, and you have specialist courts. So if you have the criminal division, for instance, all the judges in the criminal division can only be circulated within the criminal division, but not to take a civil judge and
Is that a good idea?
Yes, it is, quite frankly. If that had happened, this issue would not have even come up. If that had happened.
Especially if the public sees, if they don't think justice is seen to have been done.
That's it.
So is there anything wrong for a judge to be rich? You know, people get...
I mean, like a billionaire?
Well, anyway, it all depends on how rich, how we qualify rich, because it could actually discourage some people in the profession from rising or taking a particular path, because now they say they're looking into the accounts of some people. Is it a crime for a judge to be rich?
Not at all. Let me explain it this way. Money that you had before you came into the office as a judge, it's there. It will be looked into. What were you doing? What was your background? For instance, if you have a very rich lawyer who suddenly decides that, look, okay, I'm tired with legal practice, I want to go to the bench. Now, who was he before he got to the bench? Perhaps he was a multimillionaire, perhaps he was a billionaire. So the money is there. Now, when he's now being investigated, it will be based on every judge, any human being can be a subject of investigation, particularly when you're seen to live large. And it cannot be reconciled. In Ghana, it's just like this country, well, we also need to sanitize the system. In Ghana, a minister under Kufuor gave his girlfriend $10,000. He was investigated on account of that. That what you're being paid and what you have given out, we can't reconcile. Please explain to us how you got this money. On account of that, he resigned. Can you have that here? The answer is no. Now, if you see a judge who is seen as, in quote, a civil servant, so to speak, live large, has so much money. For me, sometimes the advantage on being rich as a judge is that it will be difficult for anyone to influence you. If you came into the office with wealth, there are some female judges whose husbands are financially strong. It will be difficult for anyone to want to approach them, because if you look at corruption, it flows from the fact that some have yearning for financial independence and it's just not there. And so, or some have, but it's not just enough. So when you look at all of that, you can then now simply say that, oh, this judge is living beyond his means, and then we need to investigate him. But it is not wrong to be rich and go to the bench. It's not even wrong as a judge that you're comfortable. I know some judges who were very rich. They were rich before they went to the bench.